The time was 1957.
The handsome king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley.
Rock and roll was new, and Elvis was the king. Gasoline was cheap, 25 cents a gallon, and it was pumped for you by uniformed attendants.
But of course, service without having to ask for it.
Telephones had rotary dials, and when you needed to look up information, you didn't go online. You went to the library and looked through index cards.
7 million index cards fill the row on row of drawers that line the walls.
It was a very different world than the one we live in today. And perhaps one of the biggest differences is that it was the early days of national television. Television was revolutionary, and it made it possible for America to show itself to itself and to the world.
Television is most certainly here to stay.
Everything presented on TV looked different than shows look today, and quite often the people appearing on TV looked by today's standards uncomfortable, and they were. Shows were live then, and TV cameras were huge. And remember, almost no one had ever been in front of a TV camera before. So when this intimidating box was pointed at them, people often spoke in ways that seem a bit stilted.
Our son Merritt took the course. He understands the rules and he follows them.
It's tempting to chuckle and look at these people from the 1950s as uptight.
The students like it, the parents like it, and best of all, it works.
But don't let this fool you. Look behind their unease, and you will find that these people were ordinary American citizens just like us, who felt lucky to be living in what they felt were the best of times. And in many ways they were. As a nation, they had been through some very rough times. 10 years of the Great Depression, and 6 years of World War II, where tens of millions had died, and much of Europe and Asia were destroyed. Now, post-war Americans felt that it was finally their time to settle down, to live what was called the good life. For most Americans, the good life meant working toward living the American dream.
Maybe a nice home in suburbia, and some nice kids, and a beer and a ball game on a Saturday afternoon.
And we'll have the living room right in here, and the kitchen right here. And, oh, darling, it's going to be just perfect.
The American dream. Owning a home.
Because in a well-built house with adequate leisure, they can live and work as better Americans.
And a car, or maybe two.
An American car. We have a right to take pride in our cars.
And modern appliances that their grandparents had never known.
You can own your own home, complete with its own refrigerator, television set, and clothes dryer.
Boy, here's real emancipation from old-fashioned chores.
A refrigerator, washer and dryer, perhaps a dishwasher, and so much more. And all of this was possible because of our industrial and economic power, and because of what was commonly called better living through science.
Inventors, engineers, and manufacturers continually offer us improvements so we can have
Ever greater progress in science and business that ensure a way of life that is physically gratifying and spiritually uplifting.
Chemists have a lot to do with this, turning coal into everything from truck tires to sheer 90s.
The world of science has given us some fabulous things.
Materials which make fabrics more beautiful and easier to care for than natural ones.
New and better stretch yarn for women's stockings.
In the world of tomorrow, plastics will certainly call the tune.
The scientist has something to offer to the public which is far, far more than gadgets and inventions.
We had faith in our science and our scientists. In the 1950s, American scientists had given us the discovery of DNA.
Thread of light,
and the Salk polio vaccine.
A vaccine to prevent paralytic polio, developed by Dr. Jonas Salk.
And American engineers won high praise worldwide for our new American highway system with millions of miles of paved roads.
More motorized mobility than ever dreamed of before.
Freedom of movement for all, symbol of democracy.
We have become the nation on wheels.
And this is Levittown.
Levittown, one of the world's largest single-unit housing developments.
To make the American dream a reality for everyone, developers were building tens of millions of houses.
The budget-priced home. This symbol of modern American living has changed the great USA.
You can raise your children far from the city's dirt, crowding, and crime, in comfort and safety.
Suburban cities sprang up almost overnight, with new water supply systems, street lights, sewer systems, electrical power grids, and more. Much of the infrastructure we depend on today was built during this time. As millions of people bought homes and got college degrees and, quote, settled down, they became a part of something that the world had never seen: the huge American middle class.
Never in history has the American family known such well-being.
A standard of living beyond the wildest dreams of anyone who lived a half-century ago.
Today, the middle-class American dream is sometimes made fun of. But for adults at that time, it wasn't funny. It was literally a dream come true. But there was a dark cloud hanging over that dream, over every home, over every suburb, and every city.
The possibility of a nuclear war in which some will survive.
You are the target of those who would trample the liberties of free men. You are in the crosshairs of the bomb sight. An enemy is centering on you, the United States of America.